Hello everyone. Native English Video Dictionary.
Hi, I'm Mike and I'm a native English speaker from the US, and this video is made exclusively for Native English Video Dictionary. So today's word is eavesdrop, and I promise you this is something that we've all done at some point in our lives. Whether we want to admit it or not, we probably don't want to tell other people that we did it, but we've all done it. And it means to secretly listen to a conversation. So basically, to listen to people talking when you're not supposed to be listening to them or when they don't know that you're listening to them. And this actually comes from the rain dropping or falling off the eave of a house. The eave is the part of the roof that is the end, and the water would fall off. And it means that people, an eavesdropper, would stand close enough to the house, right under where the rain would fall, that they could hear the conversations of people talking inside. So, for example, in real life nowadays, maybe you've been on a bus or a train and you've heard some other passengers talking, and whatever they were talking about sounded really interesting. So you kind of moved a little closer to them to hear what they were saying. Well, you eavesdropped on them. Or maybe you were a child and you could hear your parents talking about you in their bedroom with the door closed, and you wanted to know what they were saying about you. So you went and you put your ear up to the door to listen to them. Well, that's another situation when you eavesdropped. And eavesdropping is something that I'm personally guilty of. And don't judge me for this, but in my apartment building, the walls are very thin, and I can often hear my neighbors arguing, and I want to know what they're saying, and they speak so loudly, and I love eavesdropping on them to hear what they're talking about or what they're arguing about. One place you've definitely seen eavesdropping is in the movies, maybe in spy movies or police movies where they do a thing called wiretapping, and they can hear what people are talking about. The spies or the police can hear what people are talking about on the phone. Well, that's one way of eavesdropping. They are listening to someone else's conversation on the phone that they're not supposed to be listening to. So to use it in a sentence, you could say that we knew the man on the train was eavesdropping on us, but we didn't care and we kept talking. So we knew someone else was listening to our conversation, but it didn't bother us. We kept talking. Or I often eavesdrop on my neighbors because they speak so loudly and I'm curious about what they're arguing about. Or another kind of funny thing you've probably seen in the cartoons is you see a bunch of kids listening to a door and they're eavesdropping in the door and they fall into the door, and whoever is having that conversation, maybe their teachers or their parents, are they're shocked and they get angry at the kids for eavesdropping on them. Some synonyms are listening in on. So that has 3 words. It has listening and then 2 prepositions, in and on. So listening in on someone's conversation. The kids were listening in on their parents, or spying. They were spying on their parents, or they overheard their parents talking. So that last synonym is overhear. In terms of antonyms, there are 3 really, really great ones. The first antonym is apathy, and it kind of means that you just don't care. So he was apathetic about the conversation that his neighbors were having. He could hear it, but he was apathetic, so he didn't care. He didn't listen. Or he was disinterested in the conversation, so he was so disinterested that he didn't bother to listen. Or disregard. So apathy and disinterest means that you kind of don't really care, so you don't listen to it. Disregard means you choose not to listen to it. Maybe you do care, but you think it's rude, so you don't do it. So he heard them talking and he found it really interesting, but he decided to disregard what they were saying and mind his own business. So those are 3 antonyms. We usually just use the verb form of eavesdrop, but you could use it as a noun. You could call someone who's listening in. You could call them an eavesdropper if you wanted to use it as a noun, but maybe a better word would just be calling them a spy. He was a spy. He was listening in on us. So those are probably the best ways to use the word eavesdrop. And thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.